All right. Good evening, everybody. This is the iBUG Buzz, episode 540 for June 27, 2022. I'm Greg. I'll be co-hosting today with Sandhya. For any of you that are new to the iBUG Buzz, this is an open forum discussion where we can raise questions, talk about issues related to the accessibility features on our iOS devices like the iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Apple Watch, or Apple TV. We are recording. So if you need to refer back to something that was said, you can access the recording on the ibugtoday.org website. You can go to the iBUG YouTube channel, or you can listen to the recording as a podcast episode on your podcast app of choice. To keep things running smoothly, we ask that you follow a few simple rules. First, if you're not asking or responding to a question, please stay muted. Second, when you want to ask or answer or respond to a question, we'd ask that you wait until there's a break in the conversation, unmute yourself, state your name, and wait for one of the facilitators to recognize you. We want to, okay, and third, number 3, we want to give everybody a chance to participate. So if you've asked or responded to a question, please let others do the same before you jump back in. This is not a game show. We're not competing to see who's the quickest to hit the unmute button, and you don't get money for answering the most questions. And rule number 4, we ask that you minimize background noise. That would mean put your phone ringers on mute, turn off those clock chimes, unplug the A ladies and the G devices, and send your noisy family members to the other end of the house. So how do we unmute? On an iPhone, the mute unmute toggle is in the bottom left corner of your screen. On an iPad, it'll be up at the top toward the center. On a PC, you'll use the Alt-A combination. On a Mac, on an Apple computer, you'll use Command-Shift-A. And on either of the PC or the Mac, you can also use the spacebar, hold the spacebar down to talk. And then when you release it, that'll send you back on mute. If you're calling in on a landline, you'd use the *6 combination. So I think that does it for my part of the introduction. So for announcements and a preview of what's coming up this week, I'll send it back over to the inimitable, the illustrious, the icon or an icon of iBUG, Sandhya Rao.
Wow, I'm blushing. All right, thank you, Greg. Okay, so here we go. We have a pretty calm week for iBUG, so let's enjoy. So here we are now at the iBUG Buzz for the next 2 hours. We hope you stick around. And then tomorrow on Clubhouse will be the mini buzz, and that will be on Clubhouse. So, and all times that I mentioned are Central Time, and they will be on Zoom unless specified otherwise. Okay, and the Zoom link is the same for all of the events that I am going to mention. Okay, so Clubhouse from tomorrow, we're going to talk about basically a continuation of what we're doing tonight. So think of something at 3 in the morning, just hold on and you can ask your question tomorrow on Clubhouse. Then in the evening, we have iBUG Mac and Talk, and that'll be on Zoom. All things relating to your Mac, whether you should get one or maybe you have one and it's just sitting there like a paperweight. Okay, so you can come and figure out how to revive it and use it. So that's what we talk about there from 7 to 8:30 on Zoom. And then we are off Wednesday and Thursday, and then we are back on Friday for iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies for the beginning of July. July. And with those amazing clues and, all the other frivolity, come back at the top of the hour and we will reveal the clues and figure out what movie we are going to be watching, and you can compete for those fabulous prizes. Then on Saturday is iBUG Unplugged. It's an opportunity for us to get to know each other. Or maybe you don't want to get to know us. I don't know. But it's just a fun, casual event. And the topic this month is daily stuff. And I am not sure what that's about, but I guess we will find out. And that'll be on Zoom at 8 p.m. Central Time. Then we will have a meeting on July 4th. So we will come here and we can watch the fireworks on this call. Okay. All right. So that's our recap of what's coming up this week. And as far as social media, we have a website, ibugtoday.org. ibugtoday.org is the best place to get all the information. You can register for free. You can check out all the upcoming events. If you on the list, you'll get a nice listing of all the things coming up for the month, and that will be coming up as we end the month of June. What else? We have facebook.com/group/iBug today, where you can pose your questions, ask other questions, help other people with their questions. It's a great place for getting questions answered. And then we have Twitter at iBug today is the handle. Check out all the information that is coming out on that platform. And if you need to contact us, you can always send an email to ibugtoday@gmail.com. And I think, oh yes, we have a mentoring program. How could I forget? And there, if you are a beginner user and need help, please fill out the application on the training tab under the Jumpstart Mentoring Program and complete the application. We'll match you up with one of our amazing advanced users, and we will get you on your way. It is a 12-week program of training, and like all of our services, it is free. Okay, so there we have our announcements. Greg, I'm done. I'm handing it back to you.
Okay, you're not going to say anything nice about me?
My mom said if you have nothing good to say, don't say anything at all.
Okay, so now would be the time that we go around and introduce ourselves. So if you would state your name, tell us where you're from, and if you're new to the iBug Buzz, please share that with us. So I'll start. I'm Greg from a very dry Central Texas.
This is
I'm
Herbie in
Pete.
Houston.
Jack.
Go ahead, Herbie, go ahead.
Sorry, Herbie.
Oh no, I was just saying Herbie in Houston.
Okay.
And
This
Pete
is
from
Brad. This is Brad. I'm in Dallas. Go ahead.
Hey, Brad. Pete, how about you?
Okay, third time's a charm. Pete from Jacksonville, Florida.
Hey, Pete.
Hey,
Marie
Greg.
from Reno.
Marie, welcome.
Sabrina from Texas.
Sabrina, hello.
It's Tim from
Jody from the-
Chicago.
Hey, Tim.
Hey,
Glad you
Greg,
could
how's
make
it going?
Yeah.
Jody from New Hampshire.
Jody, good evening.
Good evening.
Dan from Southern California.
Hey, Dan.
Dee from Southern Illinois.
Hi, Dee.
Hello.
Marvin from Chicago.
Hey, Marvin.
Helene from Woodstock, New York.
Hi, Helene. Good
Roy
evening.
from Fort Worth.
Oh, hey, Roy. And who was that from Fort Worth?
Calandra.
Calandra. Hi, Calandra. Who else do we have?
This is Gail in Houston.
Hey, Gail.
How you doing?
Good.
This is Suva from Houston.
Hey, Suva.
Thomas from Grand Junction, Colorado.
Hi, Thomas. Anybody else?
This is Sandhya in Houston.
Sandhya from Houston. Okay. Is that it?
Okay, I think that's it.
Well, all right. We'll have a chance later to, if anybody didn't get a chance to introduce themselves, we'll do that again later. All right. And I didn't hear anybody new to iBUG. Did you notice anybody, Sandhya?
No.
Okay. All right, so let's get it started.
This
Who
is
has the first
Gail.
question?
This is Gail.
Gail, go ahead.
You gotta go first. That's with this group. Okay, I was on Facebook today and I was trying to do a 2-finger double tap under comments to say, on the happy birthday. And I noticed today that when I did it for the dictate, that it didn't work. And also when I went to the keypad and I went to dictation, it also didn't work. And I was wondering, is there a problem with Facebook and dictation? Has anybody else noticed that? Or is it me?
I'll bet it's
Because
not you.
it was working yesterday.
Who can respond to that?
This is Pete.
Go ahead, Pete.
I'm not, if you were in the birthday thing where you get a notification that says it's so-and-so's birthday and it takes you to the birthday wish screen. I've noticed occasionally, but not recently, that sometimes the text field is not accessible. You can't even type in it sometimes. And it's not limited to dictation, but I've not noticed anything recently.
Well, this is Gail. I was not even that good on Facebook. Somebody had commented, happy birthday. So I went under their comment, and then where it went to comments, that's where I usually do it. And when I double tapped, the 2-finger double tap for the dictation, which usually works, it just wouldn't let me do anything.
Okay, anybody else?
This is Helene.
Helene, go ahead.
I find that it's very problematic for me as well, and I always wait for someone to recognize the birthday, and I do just what you do, Gail. But my thing that I find is that if I reboot the phone and shut it down, like, go to the left side and do, the up and down and then hit the other button on the other side. If I start it all over again and I go back to Facebook, then it seems to be happier.
Okay. All right. This is
Okay,
Gail.
Gail. Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Before you say anything, please
Okay,
state
go
your
ahead.
name and let me recognize
Okay.
you just to keep things orderly. Go ahead.
Okay. This is Gail.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking of that, but I wanted to bring it up first to see if there was something I was, doing wrong, or if there was something else. But I was thinking about doing that before I came to the group tonight, of, closing the phone and restarting it.
Okay, anybody have anything new to add? Or if not, let's move on to another question. Anything else on that? Okay, let's go ahead and move on. I hope that helped, Gail.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is Gail. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, another question?
This is Sabrina. I have a question, but I'm not exactly sure if y'all would be able to answer it. I recently got hearing aids and they connect to my iPhone. I was wondering if any of y'all knew how to make notifications go off through my hearing aids.
All right. Anybody have experience with that?
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
What kind of hearing aids did you get? I mean, what brand?
Oticon.
Okay. I have Resound. I don't know. They work a little different. I get everything. All voiceover comes through mine. Are you not getting everything?
I get phone calls, but like text messages or emails, I don't get that through my hearing aids.
This is Brad.
Go ahead.
Is there an Oticon app?
This is Sabrina. Yes, there is.
Have you gone through the app and see what settings there are? I can't remember. Seems to me, when you paired them, did your Oticon pair through the accessibility settings, or did you pair them through the app?
Both.
Both. Okay. Okay, because I know the resound, it's all done through the app. I don't go to, my regular iOS settings to do it. And everything that the hearing aids do is controlled through the app. I would check with your audiologist and ask them about it. Most of them nowadays are pretty familiar with how the different brands of hearing aids work with the iPhone and voiceover. Although
Okay.
sometimes I find they need a little education in voiceover, but most of them seem to understand it. But I would check that out. Also, like I said, check your Oticon app and see if there's a setting in there, because it may control how much you get. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Brad. And
Yeah.
this is Sabrina. Sorry.
Thank you. Does anybody else have experience with the Oticon hearing aids and voiceover? Okay. Well, I hope that helped. I was thinking the same as Brad. I was thinking maybe talk to your audiologist and see if they could provide some guidance. So let's move on to the next question.
This is Dee.
Dee, go ahead.
Okay. With the passwords app, I don't know if that has changed through the years, but I'm sure we used to be able to go in there and actually see what our password actually was, or go in there and write out our own password instead of having iOS choose one for us. But I would swear I used to be able to tap on something and I could actually see what my passwords were. And I can't do that anymore.
Okay. Who can help Dee with that?
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, that seems to have changed, Dee. I have noticed that on both the iOS and the Mac. You used to be able to go in there, particularly in iOS, and see what your password was. That was also great for when you can't remember what was my password. And I could go in to the password section of the iOS settings and I could see it. But they have changed that. Now they're secret. So there's no help.
Okay,
But there is, when you create a password on a website or in an app, it does pop up something at the bottom of the screen where Keychain is going to suggest a password. And you can either accept it, or there's usually a button below it that says something to the effect of create my own or use my own password. So you can still do that. But once you've set them, you can't find out what they are anymore.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Herbie.
So actually, there is a way you can see your password still. When you go to where your thingy is, if you go to the edit button, then it changes the password from secret to visible, and you can get it that way. It's a bit of a pain, yes, but you can do that. And just to, you'll know if you made changes or not, because the save button by default should be dimmed. But if it's not, then either way, you just want to hit the cancel button so that way you don't actually make any changes. But you can go to the password field and then you can just do like the copy and paste method to copy your password if you need to paste it somewhere else. So that is how you get around that.
This is Brad.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brad.
Where do you find the edit button, Herbie? Because I've apparently missed that.
So when you go to, like, say if you have an iBUG account password, so you would go to where it would say like iBUG today, you would double tap that, and at the top is an edit button right before the username and password.
Okay,
this is
thanks.
Suva.
I'll look for that.
Yeah, Sue, go ahead.
The location of, if you're trying to orientate, is Brad is going to be at the top right once you double tap on the icon that you're trying to see, or the account that you're trying to see for the password.
It's Kathy.
Yeah, go ahead, Kathy.
Are you back in settings or are you actually on the website where the password is being needed? Where this edit field is?
So
This is
this,
Greg, are you there?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, somebody's
Yeah,
breaking
this
up.
is Dee.
Okay, Dee, go ahead.
Yeah, that edit thing it's in the app itself called passwords.
Oh, so you're in settings and then you go to passwords.
I usually go, way down at the bottom, and then when it starts all of your apps.
Okay.
I'm confused. Yeah, if somebody can explain that. So are you going to in settings, you're going to where it has your name and then going
is
down
Suva.
to, yeah, go ahead, Suva.
So you're going to settings, then you're swiping until you get to passwords. And in your passwords, it's going to ask you to log in using your Touch ID. Otherwise, it won't let you go through. So as soon as you either Face ID or Touch ID, they recognize it's you, it will introduce you to different accounts that you have, say Amazon, eBay, school, work. It doesn't matter what account that you have your password saved to. And each individual account, you will have to double click on. So say you've selected Amazon, you double click on Amazon. And that after you click on Amazon icon, it will take you to the next page where you will be presented with this edit button at the top right hand side. So if you double click on double tap on the edit button, you will be presented with the password. You can then listen to it or copy and paste the rest.
Perfect. Very good explanation, Suva.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You're
This
welcome.
is Pete.
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
One other way, when you get to the screen with your usernames and passwords, the last screen that Suva mentioned, if one of them is not dimmed, but asterisked, where you can't see the characters, if you double tap and hold, single finger double tap and hold, you'll get a menu, one of the options in which is to copy. So you can double tap on that, and then you've copied the underlying actual password, not the bullets. And you can then go paste that in your website or your other app wherever it's needed.
All right, good. Very good.
This is Sri.
Yeah, Sri.
So are we talking about keychain or are we talking about something different?
This
Pete.
is D.
Yeah,
I
Pete,
think.
go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's keychain. It's in settings under passwords. And then you go to the particular app or website, which is alphabetically listed, and your password and username reside there.
This is Herbie.
Well, let's give Dee. Dee was spoke up next. Dee, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say whenever Sri just asked about keychain or passwords, that is confusing. Because wasn't the app called keychain, but then in the phone itself it shows under passwords?
Yeah, let's Herbie, why don't you go ahead and then let's move on.
So the only time the phone references keychain is okay, so let's see if I can explain this a little bit better. Passwords is what stores your passwords on the phone. Keychain is what actually stores them in iCloud. So that's really kind of the difference between the two. So you'd use the keychain storage if you want to make sure that whenever you lose your phone or whatever, you can get all your passwords back. And so there is a slight difference between out and out keychain versus just like the password storage, the password storage. But I just want to say I did not know that about the double click and hold on the stars on the password. That is totally cool. And I did also want to mention that if you have more questions about Passwords app in general or about password managers, we did a cafe several months back on that very topic. So
Oh,
just wanted to remind everybody about that. And you can find them on YouTube or iBUG, wherever you get your iBUG podcasts.
Right. We need to go ahead and move on, but I did have one question. Whoa. Oh no. The there's not an app per se, is there? There's not a password
This is Herbie.
app. It's just a line item in settings, isn't it? Go ahead, Herbie.
I mean, it's settings itself is an app, but passwords is a part of settings. Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. How about another question?
Elisa.
Elisa, go ahead.
I was noticing when I was on, I think it was Zoom. It had me. It's supposed to be it had me like if I was driving in a car, and I was like, I'm not even driving. I'm not even in a car, and I was at home, and I was like, why is it doing that? Is there a way to go around that, or how do you go about doing that? Because I seen that on Friday, and I was like, what? I'm not even in the car. I'm at home in my house. Weird.
Yeah. Can you give us a little more information? Are you hearing auditory noise like you're in a car, or can you explain that again?
It said Zoom driving safe driving mode, but it didn't. I was not even in the car. It was weird.
Okay.
This is Pete.
Yeah, Pete, go ahead.
You know, Alyssa, I got a notification last Monday that I was in driving. It's a do not disturb or a focus status these days, but I was do not disturb while driving, but I could not find it on my Zoom screen, and it didn't really prevent me from doing anything. I could still mute and unmute and and speak up. Is this preventing you from doing anything else on your Zoom screen?
Go ahead, Elisa.
Lisa,
Go ahead.
like it wouldn't let me leave. It wouldn't let me leave the Zoom account, and I was like, why? And I had to come back in to rewatch the movie, and I was like, this is weird.
That's weird. I didn't see that. I could leave, and I
It would
did.
this is Elisa. It would just say you're on mute, and then it would say speaker, and it would say speak. It would say double tap.
Herbie.
Yeah, go ahead, Herbie.
So this can be completely disabled, actually. All you need to do is go to the More tab. Don't go into a meeting. Instead, so before you go into your next meeting, just open the Zoom app, go to the More tab, which is at the very bottom of your screen. Then at the top, you're going to look for settings. And then under settings, you are going to look for the meetings option. And in there is, you have to go down a little ways, but there's an option for safe driving mode, and you can have that disabled. And then you will not have to worry about that popping up whenever you go into meetings.
All right.
This is Sri.
Yeah, Sri, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Lisa, the solution was posted on the Facebook page to your question.
Okay. Elisa, does that take care of you?
Elisa?
Yeah, go ahead, Elisa.
I was not able to see the Facebook question because I've been out of Wi-Fi for the whole day, and we just got Wi-Fi recently. So that answers my question. Thank you, guys.
All right. Let's move on. Next question.
This is Jody.
Jody, go ahead.
Yes, my question is for Sri. On Saturday, or anybody else, but Sri was the one that commented. On Saturday during the cafe, he mentioned that you can make custom gestures, and that he'd talk about that at another time. So how do you make a custom gesture? You talked about making circles and other things like that.
How about it, Sri?
This is Sri. So basically, when you're going in there, one of the options that you can do is create your own gesture. And basically how it works is you create a gesture, it records that gesture. So for example, if you do a 5-finger pinch, you basically kind of create that motion, and it asks you to repeat it, and then you can save that gesture and create that as a new gesture. I could try and do one at one of the segments on how to do that.
And that's under this, Jody. That's under commands and gestures.
Yeah, and I think it's create a gesture. I'll take a look at it. I haven't done it for a while, but I try to do like a 5-finger pinch to create a gesture.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you very much.
Hey, you could do it tonight. It's an iBUG Byte.
This is Pete.
It's not my
Go
turn.
ahead, Pete.
How do you do a 5-finger pinch?
I was wondering that. Is that? I guess that includes your thumb. Go ahead, Sri.
Yes. So basically, what I was trying to do is I was trying to help someone out, and I was just playing around with it. I do like so. Basically, what I did is I placed 5 fingers on the phone, and I just did a pinch in, and it basically records that motion. And so once it records that motion, it understands where the 5 fingers are touching and the motion that it moves. And so that's how I created the 5-finger pinch.
Cool. Sri, it seemed to work okay?
Somewhat. But there's probably better gestures that I could have done without the 5-finger pinch. Something that's, because the important thing is you have to record it exactly the way the gesture is.
Right.
And so I probably should have practiced a little bit more on that, the 5-finger.
Yeah, Pete, go ahead.
I'm guessing two questions, Sri, then. I'm guessing you have to later assign an action to that gesture, and then it also has to be a gesture that's not already an existing gesture, right? You can't replace a single finger double tap with a different action, right?
I didn't try to replace one. I was actually trying to create for handwriting, because handwriting only has a few gestures. And one of the gestures for handwriting didn't work, which is basically a 3-finger swipe, 3-finger swipe down, flick left. That's a gesture that's there, but it doesn't work. So I was trying to figure out some other gesture that I can compensate for that. That's why I was trying to create a custom gesture.
Cool.
This is Jody.
Yeah, Jody, go ahead.
Yeah, I was paying attention on Saturday, and Sandhya said that you can actually replace gestures that are already being used for other things, and it gives you a prompt that says, do you want to replace this gesture, with your new gesture, and you actually can do that.
This is Sri.
Yeah, Sri, go ahead.
Yeah, I couldn't get it to replace the 3-finger for the handwriting. It didn't work with the 5-finger pinch, which is what I was trying to replace it with. But I mean, that gesture doesn't work even right now that's programmed in the system for handwriting. That gesture doesn't work. So that could be part of the problem why mine didn't work.
All right. That sounds like a really neat feature that maybe we can get a presentation on one of these other shows. Anybody have another question?
This is Calandra.
You were kind of breaking up there.
This is Calandra.
Okay, Calandra, go ahead.
I heard that you could get a such thing as face sign, which is when somebody is talking to you and you can see them talking to you, and you can see them. Can you get that feature on your iPhone?
Okay, somebody want to respond to that?
This is Sandhya.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
Yes, so those are that would be something you can do on your iPhone. And Calandra, if you are wanting to learn more, I mean, some of those are that we teach all of those basic features in the in our mentoring program. So we would love to have you. So if you want to fill out the application when you are ready to start learning, we would be glad to help you. But yeah, that is one of the things that you could learn how to do on your iPhone. Okay?
Yeah, I'd rather, observe this way because I like learning all sorts of things in there, even though I don't plan on getting one.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank you.
Cassandra. All right. Let's get another question.
This
This
is
is
Brad.
Suva.
Brad and then Suva. Go
A
ahead,
little
Brad.
while ago, we were there was a question that had to do with do not disturb while driving, and I think it was actually in relation to the Zoom app. But that caused me to look at my focus settings and under do not disturb. And prior to iOS 15, when we got focus, used to be do not disturb was its own deal. We didn't have focuses, and you were able to go into do not disturb and turn on or off or adjust settings for do not disturb while driving. And I remember when that first came out, because I'm never driving, I'm always a passenger, and I didn't want my phone automatically turn it on do not disturb while driving because I'm not driving. Anyway, I don't see that in under focus in the do not disturb section. Does anyone know where you go to get to those settings? Did those settings go away? Are they still there? That's my question.
All right. Who can answer that? We have some very smart people on this call.
Elisa,
Lisa, go ahead.
Brad, what settings are you talking about? Because I'm very confused. I just hear settings, but I don't know what settings you're describing.
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
There used to be do not disturb in settings. It wasn't under focus because we didn't have focus before iOS 15. And you used to be able, and it's been a long time since I looked at it. I don't remember when do not disturb while driving was introduced, iOS 11, 12, something like that. But there was a way to disable that so that you did not have your phone automatically go into do not disturb when it detected you were in a car. And those settings were under do not disturb. Then there was a section for do not disturb while driving. And I'm not, when I go to focus and go to do not disturb, there's ways for me to set up a do not disturb focus, but I don't see anything that addresses do not disturb while driving and allows me to disable it or address any of the settings for do not disturb while driving.
I'll bet we have a bunch of people looking right now. Has anybody found it?
This is Pete. I know it's there because I stumbled on it, but I don't remember where, so sorry.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, we'll do some research on that and see if we can bring that back up because I know I've seen it too. I just don't remember where I saw it. Okay, other questions? Anybody?
This is David.
David, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just asked Sarah to turn on driving mode, and she said I'm turning on driving focus. So, but I don't know why it doesn't show up in the list of focuses, foci, whatever. I've never seen it in that list. It's like work. It has some of those pre-built ones. When you go into focus and settings, I don't think driving is there. But when I asked her to turn on driving mode, she said driving focus on.
Right. I wonder if it's a sub item to one of the line items.
Maybe so. Yeah, I remember when driving focus came, or that driving mode came on the first night, turned off right away because it was annoying me. Because even if you're riding in a car, it was messing up your phone. If you're just a passenger, so I kind of gave up on it. But anyway, that's it.
Right. All right. Thank you, guys. How about another question?
This is Sandhya.
Sandhya.
I think did we have a question from Suva or did we get him?
Oh, Suva, did I miss you?
No, he didn't. Brad
Oh,
and
sorry.
Greg
Okay.
was going. No, it's
Oh,
good.
okay.
No,
Okay.
you can- but I do have a question.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you, Sandhya. So yes, my question is, maybe there's something out there. I just be curious, but so anytime, I don't know if anybody is interested to kind of explore like other shows that are maybe not in English language, maybe it's in Korean or Japanese or other languages, the subtitles is in English. So, and it is not, can do audio description on it. So is there any apps or any other accessibility features that will pull the data from the video when it's playing and read you the subtitles in English, which is the subtitles are in English? And is there anything that will pull the data and read you those?
This is Sri.
Yeah, go ahead, Sri.
Yeah. So when you're watching a movie with the English subtitles, go to the rotor, and you have an option to one of the options is to play the caption, and you have if you flick up or flick down, it'll tell you whether you want a speech, Braille, and one other option. And if you put it to speech, it will translate the caption into voiceover.
Sri, let me ask you, what do you have to have selected in your rotor choices
I think it's media
to make that
description.
happen? Media description? Okay.
I think it's media description.
All right.
And then if you flick up or down, one of the options will be speech, and that'll play the caption.
Yeah. Siva, does that make sense to you?
That is great. Yeah, this is Suva again. A follow-up question to that is that it works with a specific application, or is that everywhere, universal?
This is Sri.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've done it with on my phone watching Netflix. So I believe that option is, as long as you get the media description option available on the rotor, it should play. But I definitely watched a lot of Indian movies with English subtitles and Korean movies with English subtitles, and it works for me.
Gotcha. Thank you. I'll try.
Yeah, that's a really neat feature. We have some people on the call that are pretty new to using accessibility features, and we've got some folks on the call that have a lot of experience. But it's amazing how even for experienced users, you always can learn something. All right, so let's go ahead.
Sri.
Yeah, Sri.
I believe the media description is also under the accessibility settings. I think it's under the closed captions. I think the media description might be in there too. I have to take a look, but
as well as under the rotor settings.
The media description, when you're in the rotor, the selection is under the settings accessibility. I believe there's a toggle for media description.
Okay,
it might be under closed caption. I'll look at it during the break and find it exactly.
That would put it in your rotor choices.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Do we have another question?
This is Janet from Colorado.
Hang on just a second, Janet. Who was that before Janet?
Linda.
Linda? Go ahead, Linda.
Yes, going back to Keychain, does it automatically save to iCloud, or do I have to choose that option?
Any responses to that? Okay. Okay, no answers to that. So we'll have to do some research on that.
This is Marie.
Thanks.
This is Marie.
Yeah, Marie, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get to my phone right away. I have a friend who recently got a new phone, and she was concerned because her passwords did not transfer over to the new phone. And you do have to go into the settings where your name is up at the first and go into iCloud, and you have to tell Keychain to You have to have it included in your iCloud drive for those to transfer to your different devices.
All
All
right, thank you.
Sandhya, who did I forgot who said something right after Linda.
That was
Janet.
Oh, Janet.
Janet.
I'm sorry, Janet. Go. The floor is yours. Go for it.
All right. We have an update for this answer is for Brad.
Okay.
Are you there, Brad?
He's gone off to watch
This is
NASCAR.
Brad.
Okay. Go ahead, Doc. My husband's gonna explain it.
That about that section concerning the driving.
Yeah.
When you first open Focus as an add button, and you double tap that, you'll see drive. There's a whole button for driving where you can go set it up yourself.
Okay.
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
Go back and say where that was again, under Do Not
Okay.
Disturb or under Focus?
No. As soon as you open Focus, there's an add button.
Add button. Okay.
Yeah, if you double tap that, you'll find your driving.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Mine's set the way I like it. I just noticed we were talking about that and I started looking at it and I didn't see it, but that's good to know.
This is Janet.
Janet, go ahead.
The other day I was doing this is my own question. The other day I was doing a PayPal. I was doing something on PayPal and I got a thing on there that says, would you like to donate $1 to iBUG today? And I'm wondering, is PayPal connected with Amazon in some way or something? Because I've never seen that before when I did a PayPal transaction. And I set up my iBUG today with the Amazon Smile thing. So that was kind of weird.
It's at Sandhya. She's trying to hustle money. Okay. Anybody have a response to that? PayPal and getting notifications about the Amazon Smile.
No. I was making a PayPal purchase.
Okay.
And there was a thing in there that said, would you like to donate $1 to iBUG today? And I set up my iBUG today through Amazon Smile.
Okay. Anybody had experience with that? Okay. I don't
This is
think
Linda.
Linda, go ahead.
I'm not for sure, but I think it's totally separate because I do have Amazon Smile with a certain account, and my husband and I do have a nonprofit, and sometimes we get payments from PayPal Giving Fund, and it's only for $1, and I'm guessing that's where that dollar came from.
Okay.
So I think they're totally separate.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
This is David.
Yeah, David, go ahead.
Yeah, Amazon has its own separate pay service. I don't think PayPal is even connected with Amazon that I know of, but it could be you might have paid iBUG like to buy a raffle ticket or something, through PayPal, and maybe it remembered that or something.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Okay, I forgot I even done that. It was one of those did it and forget it things. Okay, thank you very much.
This is Sabrina.
Okay, Sabrina, go ahead.
I have a comment on the just do not disturb while driving. I went to Focus and there's a thing called smart activation. And from what I read, it says that it'll just activate when you're like in traffic or just in any situation. It'll just automatically pick up that you're moving by your speed. So I think it also might be a smart activation as well.
Okay. Something else for Brad to try.
This is Pete.
Yeah, Pete.
I think that's what Brad did not want. He did not want the automatic activation because he doesn't drive. He said when he sits in the passenger seat, it used to put him into do not disturb while driving, and he did not want that happening. So he's now looking for the settings to take it off automatic.
Yes, this is Sabrina. That's why because smart activation is automatically on, you'd have to go on there and turn it off because it's automatically on from having the new phone.
And that's what Brad, I think, was looking for.
Yeah.
To get that
This is
turned
Brad.
off. Yeah, Brad.
Yeah, well, we were talking about whatever it was we were talking about. It caused me to look under focus, and I did not see any settings for do not disturb while driving. Back when do not disturb while driving was first introduced, it was automatically turning on, and it's been a while. I've slept a few times since then, a few years ago when it came out, and I disabled it 100%. So, and I have not had a problem with it ever since. And whenever I set up a new phone, I always back my current phone up, do an encrypted backup to my Mac, and restore my new phone from that encrypted backup. So all my settings from one phone always go forward to the next phone. So I've never had to go back and mess with it again. And it just, we had been talking about something earlier, and it caused me to look at focus under do not disturb, and I didn't see any of those settings. So my guess is I do not have a driving focus set up because those things probably carried forward from the old way it was done, and I do not have one. And as long as I don't mess with it, I'm fine. But if you wanted one, like my wife has one set up because she doesn't want to be bothered when she's driving, and it probably carried forward. I bet that if I go look on her phone, she has a do not disturb while driving focus set up that she doesn't even know about. But anyway, that was
Jody?
what I was trying to do.
Yeah, Jody, go ahead.
Where do you turn on or off the smart activation?
So I just went to focus and do not disturb, and it says turn on automatically, and it's right below there. It says smart activation in the settings.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is
All
Sandhya.
right. Go ahead, Sandhya.
Would it be unethical or morally wrong to set up somebody else from automatic driving mode without telling them?
This would be like your parents.
Yes.
That's kind of, it sounds like a legal decision to me.
Say, this is Brad. I was going to say that would be your area.
Really?
Yeah, ethics. Yeah.
I don't got no
Okay.
ethics. Okay,
I'm gonna
thank
rule
you.
that. I'm gonna rule that question out of order.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a
This is
few minutes
Herbie.
left. Who's next?
Well, this is Herbie.
Yeah, Herbie, go ahead.
I think for the record, I would say yes, just because it's not your phone, it's their phone. You have to, unless you have power of attorney over them, that might be a different scenario. But I think otherwise you can insist they do certain things and really, say, look, you need to do this because it's for your own good. This is safety. This is, if there's any way you can invoke any laws saying, this is, I don't know what laws are like for Texas, for instance, what laws are for driving while talking. But if there are, then you could really use that to back up your argument. So I would say that even though your intentions are good, no, it is not ethical.
Oh, Herbie, trying to get parents to do something like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
This is Brad.
Well, this is a conversation on the record, and so I think that we need to set things straight because that could create problems otherwise. So
Okay, Brad, go ahead.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Greg. I'm just saying that ethically
Yeah.
it is wrong.
Yeah.
I've dealt with elderly parents before. They're worse than dealing with young children
Hey.
because
I am an elderly parent.
No, no, you're
Hey,
not. You are not
Okay.
a cognitively. I say just do it because it's for their own good.
All right. Thank you.
Sandhya,
Well,
know
the
what
question.
happened there? This is Pete.
This is
right?
Sri.
Yeah, okay.
Sandhya.
Okay, let's move on beyond the elderly parents.
This is Mo.
Because
with
I'm
a-
getting
wanted to
real
tell
depressed.
Sandhya-
Mo's got
This
a
is
new
Sri.
question.
Okay, Mo, go.
Sandhya got the
Super
truth,
simple
but
question.
can't handle the truth.
Whoa. One at a time. Did Mo?
Yes. Super
Okay,
simple
go.
question. The reading menu bar, if I'm if I'm remembering that correctly, the reading, is it the reading bar? How do we activate it? How do we, it occasionally will pop up, but I don't really know what the gesture is to invoke it.
What bar?
That's maybe calling it incorrectly. The
This is
reading
Herbie.
menu bar. Reading bar.
This
Yeah,
is Sandhya.
Herbie.
Oh.
Herbie,
Are
go
you
ahead.
referring to reader mode in Safari? Mo?
I'm sorry, could you repeat?
Yeah,
I went.
but are you referring to in Safari, the reader mode in Safari?
I've seen it in Safari, but I've seen it in other apps, I believe. It just it pops up as a floating bar.
Yeah, Herbie, did you want to add to that?
Safari has a reader mode. I don't know about other browsers, and definitely other apps do not. And you would find that kind of really like at the top of the page, like there's a little menu bar thing. But the problem is you're trying to give us a visual description, and that really is complicating, I think, confusing maybe what you're talking about. So we may be talking about cross purposes. So I think it would really help, unless somebody knows, but it might help to really have voiceover on next time you encounter the floater bar. So
With voiceover on, yeah, it comes on.
it can tell us what it actually says.
Yeah, I'll maybe I'll come back in the second segment. Let me see.
Okay, Mo.
Thanks.
All right, Sandhya, how are we doing on time?
You got 3 minutes.
Okay.
This is
3
Sri.
minutes. 3.
Yeah, I just want to clarify about the media description. I just checked it. It's not under accessibility. It's under voiceover verbosity. And if you swipe down towards the bottom, you'll see media description. It's an on-off toggle.
All right, good. Well, that would open up some possibilities for watching movies. I'll have to check that out.
This is Suva.
Suva, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Sri. I was scouring through everything in the voiceover right now, but okay. It's under voiceover verbosity. Okay, gotcha. Cool.
All right, good.
And towards
One
the
more.
bottom.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, who was that?
This is true. I'm just saying it's near the bottom under verbosity. So.
Okay.
This is Suva. Thank you.
All right. One more quick question. Going once?
Elisa.
Elisa, go ahead.
So I noticed when I'm on Facebook and it's a birthday, I'm not able to post on that person's wall. It just says text, but it won't let me do nothing.
Okay. Who has Facebook experience?
This is Sandhya.
Sandhya, go ahead.
Yeah, we've been kind of seeing that, intermittently. So it's kind of there. And I think, I don't know what else. I mean, we all know, we know about it, but I don't know if there's anything we can do about it. So thank you.
All right. Are we close enough to
You are
switch over?
good. Yes.
This
All
is
right.
Pete.
Oh, Pete.
Can I, this is Pete. Can I just say one more thing on Elisa?
Sure.
If you close Facebook out of your app switcher and then reopen it, it has worked on occasion for me. It has restarted it kind of. That's it. Thank
you.
All right. Sandhya, it's all yours.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Greg. Wow. We moved through lots of questions there. Good job. Okay. So here we go. Who has not gotten to say hello, to say who you are, where you're from?
Hello, Janet.
Hey, Janet. Welcome.
Colorado.
Hey. Okay. Welcome.
Bridget, Atlanta.
Hello, Miss Bridget. We missed you. Glad you're back. Okay.
This is
Karen
Ned from
and-
Texas.
Ned, welcome. Karen, welcome.
Priscilla from Arlington, Texas.
Hey, Miss Priscilla, the queen. Welcome.
Linda
Sure,
from
from
Conroe.
Virginia.
Linda, Shree, welcome.
Sharon from New York.
Hello, Miss Sharon.
Hey.
Dana, Cincinnati.
Hey, Dana. Welcome.
Hey.
Anybody else want to say hi?
Elisa and Porter.
Hey, Lisa. Welcome. All right. Okay. We're done with the second round of intros. Now, we're getting ready for iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies. That will be Friday night at 8 p.m. Central Time on this same Zoom conference call. 7:30 social time. Lots of craziness, chaos, whatever you want to call it. Music, trivia, name that tune, jokes, and all kinds of craziness. So, if you want some of that, come at 7:30. And then we have discussion and trivia to follow. And you may be asking, what is the movie for Friday night? I have no idea. So we're going to find out. We're going to ask the amazing, awesome, oh, well, I don't want it to go to his head. So let's see, the iBug guy, are you out there?
Yes. I am here.
Oh my.
Welcome everyone back for another fun time with Michael.
Hey, where'd you go?
All right. We've got some more great clues to figure out what the big reveal of the movie is for this week. And to present those clues, well, it's just going to be me. But
rules.
They were generated by someone very special, and we will reveal that Friday night. Okay, here we go. The clues are, there's 5 clues, and we do have rules. Someone asked, what are your rules to play
What
this
are the
game?
rules?
You have to say your name, wait to be recognized by me, and then you can guess the title of the movie. Also, you get 1 guess per clue, and you get 5 clues for the game. All right, everyone ready? Get your finger on those mute buttons or unmute buttons or whatever the case may be. Clue number 1. Our film this week takes us back to a southern coastal town.
That's it?
That's it. Our film this week takes us back to a southern coastal town.
This is Suba.
Suba.
I think I got it. It's Steins Gate.
Steins Gate.
Mhm.
Oh, Suba. You're so close. All right, but that's not it. Good try.
It's Marie.
Heard of the movie.
This
Who was
Marie.
that? Marie. Marie.
Prince,
no.
Prince of Tides.
Prince of Tides. Ooh, that's a great movie. And we have not seen it yet. And
This
we
is
will
Shree.
not see it this week. All right. Shree.
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride takes place where?
Some coastal town.
Oh, no. Shree.
Okay.
Come again. That's it for you, Shree. All right, moving on to clue number 2. This renowned drama follows the life of a troubled school teacher.
I think I got this time. Super here.
Oh, Suva's back.
It's definitely Steins Gate 0.
Oh, Suva, he doesn't give up. Steins Gate 0.
What?
I have
This
no
is mad.
idea what he said, but it is obviously not right. Okay, Ned's going for
Ned's gonna get it.
his third in a row.
The prime of Miss Jean Brody.
The prime of Miss Jean Brody, Ned. Oh man, he always gets those kinds of movies, which we are not going to watch again this week. Thanks, Ned, for playing.
This is Dave.
David.
Is it Mr. Holland's Opus?
Ooh, Mr. Holland's Opus. That is another good guess. And guess what? Oh, no. Not this time, David. Good try. I thought he had it.
This is Shree.
Shree. Back again.
Birdcage.
Birdcage. Another good try, Shree. You have been eliminated.
No, it's only my second one. I got 3 more left.
All right, next clue. Unless there's somebody else wants to try for that one. All right, moving on to clue number three. Clue number 3. All right. Bring up clue number 3. All right, this thing's not working. Okay. The school teacher has a sister and brother-in-law with a volatile relationship.
Ooh, volatile. Volatility.
Volatility, yes. You know what volatility sounds like, don't you?
Okay, there.
All right. No guesses on clue number 3. I guess we are going to move to clue number 4. The school teacher and her brother-in-law develop an antagonistic relationship.
Oh, not good.
The school teacher and her brother-in-law develop I can't even say it twice. An antagonistic relationship.
Okay.
This is Shree.
Oh, Shree, go for it.
Is it the teacher?
The teacher. Let me consult with the judges. They want me to ask you what kind of teacher?
School teacher.
The school teacher.
Teacher of what? Subject.
School.
All right.
This is Suva.
Shree, you have been eliminated again. I heard.
I found one more left.
I heard Brad.
Would it
And
be the English teacher?
The English teacher. Oh my goodness, Bradford. Good try. So, play again. You've been eliminated also. All right,
Wait a
Suba.
minute, that was only my first guess.
This is Pete.
Suba, then Pete.
Oh, please,
I
guys.
was just gonna mention it's a time traveling teacher or something.
Oh, I thought you were going to say skate or whatever you were saying.
Okay, Pete, go.
Part 3.
The
All right,
science
Pete.
teacher.
I'm sorry?
The science teacher.
The Science Teacher. That's a funny movie. We don't watch funny movies. Good try. All right.
Where'd you get these clues, Mr. McCulloch? They're terrible.
It's going to be revealed on Friday night.
Oh.
I sought out our best clue maker.
Okay, go.
Did I hear somebody else?
Sabrina?
Sabrina, well, you're wanting to guess?
No.
All right, here we go.
Oh.
The fifth and final clue. I'm hearing some.
I'm going to mute everybody.
Microphone breathing or something.
Okay, I won't mute everybody, but okay, no breathing, people. Okay, go.
Did I get muted? Am I
No,
muted?
you're here. You're here. I didn't mute everybody. Okay, go, David.
Oh, David.
Is it Streetcar Named Desire?
A streetcar named Desire. Let's see. Let me check with the judges on this one. I have always depended on the kindness of strangers. Yes, yes, yes! A streetcar named Desire. We are watching a streetcar named Desire, the original, with.
What's that got to do with teacher?
Yeah.
She's a school teacher.
New Orleans isn't on the coast.
New Orleans is right on the coast.
No, it's not. It's on a river.
It's
on
the river
the
coast.
coast.
All right. Technicalities, but David is that guy who always gets these movies right at the last minute. And obviously my impression of the line from the movie didn't make sense to anyone.
Clues didn't make
Guess it
sense.
Either.
All
right.
Clues, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
This is
Johnny,
Ned.
what do we have for our winner tonight?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. David, I don't know what you're gonna do with this or where you're gonna put it, but you are gonna have your very own restored streetcar. So I hope you have room in your backyard or in front of your house. Your neighbors will get a kick out of it. So it has an arch roof, steel body designed riding on double trucks. And you can host lavish parties in there. You and 52 of your fellow friends or neighbors can gather in there. It has a canvas to provide protection from the elements, and it requires very little maintenance, so that's good. So, you can enjoy your streetcar. Of course, it's going to be in iBUG colors. And in case you're wondering how big this thing is, it is 48 feet and 12 feet high. And there you go. So you have this, and it's about 41,000 pounds. So there you go. So enjoy your streetcar, David.
And this is the original one it's been remade several times, but we are watching the original one from 70 years ago, starring Vivian Lee, Marlon Brando, and Kim Hunter as Stella.
Okay, on that happy note, thank you, Mr. McCulloch. And thank you, David. Good job. And everybody else who participated. Here we go. We are now done with. All right. Okay. Bye.
See everybody Friday.
Okay. Enjoy. Bye. It's quite.
I won't see you though.
Oops. Wait. Okay. There we go. Now, people, here. Okay. Sorry. We are now getting ready for the iBUG Bytes segment. So we have this is a busy meeting today. So we will have our iBUG Bytes segment first, and then in a little bit we will have our iToys segment. So we've got lots to cover, and first we will start out with Greg. Greg, are you there?
I am here.
Oh, too bad. Okay, good, good. Glad you're here. Okay, let's go.
Okay, I feel like I need to start with some music.
Oh, no. You can't.
All right, so tonight, my iBug Byte, I was going to look at the voicemail tab in the phone app. So I have my phone app open. I'll go down at the bottom. We have tabs for contacts and recent, and there are 5 tabs down there. The one to the far right, bottom right corner.
Voicemail tab.
It's going to be voicemail. Can you hear that okay, Sandhya?
Let's hear it again.
Voicemail tab 5.
A little louder,
Okay. All right, so let's open that. I'll double tap on that.
Keypad tab 4 of 5.
What?
Voicemail tab 5 of 5.
Okay, I'll do a 4-finger tap at the top of the screen.
Greeting button.
And it's greeting. All right, let me double tap on that and let's go in there for just a minute.
Greeting.
Okay.
Receiving greeting.
Okay,
Send
so
your outgoing message.
all right, so on greeting, if we flick to the right, we're going to get to, we have 2 choices.
Cancel. Greeting. Save. Dimmed. Default.
Okay, we can go with the default greeting, which would be the greeting where when somebody calls and goes to voicemail, it's you've called 512-444, whatever, and leave a message. Or
Selected. Custom.
we can do a custom message. All right, if we keep flicking down, if we double tap on custom, and then we can flick down.
Play button.
We can play our whatever message we've recorded, and you could play your default if you wanted to listen to the mechanical message, but
Record
we
button.
flick again and we get to a record button. So we can tap on that record button and it'll record a new message over what we previously had, or it'll record your new message. All right, so short story. This weekend I had a call from my daughter and it went to voicemail. And the message was, "Oh, wise and exalted one, did you know that your voicemail starts with the word stop and then what you've recorded comes on?" And being that wise and exalted one that she was referring to, my response was, huh? And so I tried to re-record my message to get that stop to go away. And I tried AirPods in, AirPods out, muting voiceover. I called Apple Accessibility and they said, "Oh, that's really a serious problem. We'll make a note of it." But I still didn't have a solution. So I went to some of the iBUG people and ended up working with Herbie. And Herbie suggested try that with wired earbuds, plug some wired earbuds in, and then silence, put voiceover on mute, and then try recording. And I did. And Herbie was correct. That did work. But I would encourage you, get somebody else's phone, call your phone and listen to your voice message and make sure you're not getting that stop message at the very beginning of your recorded message. Okay, if we flick back to the left and go to play, even if you record and get rid of that stop message, you're still going to hear stop on that when you play it. However, you will not hear, if you call in from an outside line, you will not, that stop word will not. Okay, who's somebody turn their voiceover off. Okay, so you will not hear it if you call in from an outside line. Okay, so let's scrub and go back.
Greeting button.
Okay, so let's keep flicking right and go through our voicemail screen.
Edit. Voicemail. Heading.
Okay, so we're on the voicemail page.
Sandhya Rao. Phone. June 20th. Herbie Allen. Mobile. June 27th, 2022.
Okay, so I have two messages that I have not deleted. This doesn't sound staged at all, does it, with Sandhya and Herbie? Okay, I'll come back to one
Not
of
at
those
all.
messages in a minute, but in the meantime, I'll flick right again.
Deleted messages button.
All right, it says deleted messages. If I double tap on that, it's going to bring up a page that has all of the messages that I've deleted, but I haven't completely cleared out of the phone app. Flick again.
Block messages button.
It has blocked messages. And again, if I double tap on that, it's going to bring up a similar page with any messages that I have subsequently gone in and blocked the phone number, but I have not deleted the phone mail that they had left. All right, so going back up, let me go back up to my messages, just flicking to the left.
Delete voicemail. Sandhya Rao. Phone. June 27th, 2022. 20 seconds. Collapsed.
Okay, so it tells me that's collapsed. So I can double tap on it to expand it.
Sandhya Rao. Phone. June 20th.
Okay, now so the message has been expanded. If I flick to the right through the options.
Voicemail position. 0 seconds or 20 seconds.
So it tells me the position.
Play voicemail.
I can play the voicemail.
Playback destination button.
I could send the voicemail. If I had another speaker connected, I could send the voicemail to a speaker.
Call button. Delete button.
I can call Sandhya. I can delete the voicemail.
Transcription.
Flicking again to the right, I get transcription. Flicking again to the right, I'll get the text of the transcription of the voicemail. So for Sandhya.
Hey Greg, it's me Sandhya, just letting you know that we don't have any power and it's thundering language default.
Okay, so it reads out the message. Now I can, in that text field, I can use my rotor if there's some word or some spelling that I wasn't sure of. I could use my rotor, go to words or characters, and navigate through the message. All right, and I cannot scrub out of this once it's open, so I'll need to just with my finger go back up to the Sandhya listing.
Sandhya Rao, phone, June 27th, 2020.
Okay, so that's expanded. I'll double tap on it to.
Sandhya Rao, phone, June 27th.
So I double tapped on it to collapse it. And two other things I wanted to show you. So anytime I'm on one of these messages, I can flick down.
Delete.
And I have the delete option.
More info.
I can double tap on the more info, which would pull up her contact page, contact sheet.
Share.
Or I can double tap on share, and I could share that message via mail or message or whatever I wanted. Okay, one other thing that I'll mention, when you check your voicemails, I've found that when I tap on play for a voicemail, I immediately want to do a 2-finger tap on the screen to temporarily silence voiceover, because sometimes it's really hard to understand what the caller is saying when you have voiceover talking at the same time. And that's it. I'll turn it back to Sandhya to see if we have time for any questions.
Wow, there's a lot of good stuff in there. I mean, we deal with it every day. I hate voicemail, but anyway, thank you, Greg, and let's see what questions we have. Okay, who has a question for Greg about voicemail? The things that he talked about. Yes, go ahead.
Elisa?
Go ahead.
So when you were using the wireless headphones, it worked because my mom tells me, oh, your voicemail at the beginning says stop. And I'm like, oops, I don't even notice that.
Okay.
This is Greg.
Yep.
Right. Elisa, yeah. you might want to go back to this recording later, but the bottom line is you need to wear wired earbuds and just flick to that record button and then do the 3-finger double tap to turn voiceover off. Your focus will still be on that record button, so you can double tap it and record your message, and then double tap to stop it, and then do the 3-finger double tap again to turn voiceover back on.
Nikki?
Go ahead.
I'm curious, when you're talking about voicemail and it does certain things, do you have the same problems when you're listening to a text message? Do they both act the same way, or are there differences, and what are they?
I have not noticed that with text message.
They're easier to understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you mean with voiceover talking at the same time?
Well, however it works, I don't use voiceover, so I'm not quite sure. But I know that when I've sent text messages to people and I've spoken them, sometimes they have difficulty with it and sometimes they don't. But I've never had any problem, any negative feedback on voicemail. So I'm just curious. I didn't realize there were those problems. So this is fascinating. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, you just need to, if you have a message that you're listening to, I think it's pretty much specific to voicemail, where voiceover would be talking at the same time as a message would be playing.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is Herbie.
Herbie, go ahead.
So a couple things. One, I mean, theoretically, you should not have to mute voiceover if you're wearing earbuds, because that should not come through at all. So especially if they're a newer pair and there's no broken wiring, then you shouldn't have to disable voiceover. My question is though, like, has the transcription improved at all? I stopped using the voicemail app a year or two ago. I actually prefer an external one called Umail, which I find a lot easier, and I also found its transcriptions to be more accurate, but I'm just curious if you think the iPhone one has improved at all in the last year.
That's a good point, Herbie. I was going to say on Sandhya's email or Sandhya's voicemail, the transcription came across fine. On the voicemail that you left, there were just a million. There would be some text and then a whole lot of underscore. I think that's a known problem that Apple is working on, trying to improve that
Obviously,
translation.
Really is all those things you say, because hers come out clearly transcribed. So
yeah, some do, some don't. It's really kind of hit and miss, but they're working on it. Yeah, Pete, go ahead.
I just want to echo what you said, Greg. I've not seen a lot of really good transcriptions, and I was shocked at how good Sandhya's was. But then I thought, well, it's Sandhya, so that explains.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go that far.
But no, it hasn't improved in my opinion.
Yeah, Sandhya, do we have time to do any more questions?
Yeah.
Okay, Sri, go ahead.
Is the voicemail controlled by the Apple, or is it controlled by the carrier? Like the transcription, is that done by the carrier or by the Apple itself?
I'm gonna send that out. I'm gonna phone a friend on that. But I do want to point out that the what shows up in the voicemail choices could vary depending on your carrier and the way individual carriers handle voicemail. Right, but does anybody know if voicemail is controlled by the carrier or by Apple? The translation.
This is Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
I'm not sure. I think it's a combination, but I do know that when I switched from Sprint to T-Mobile last fall, I'm no longer getting transcription in the voicemail section of the phone app. I get a text message now with the same thing.
And you have to open messages to read it?
Yeah, it comes through what used to come through as a in the transcription part, like you were demonstrating, I now get as a text message. And that
Okay.
happened when I switched to T-Mobile.
All right.
And
Now we,
no, the transcription isn't any better than it was to begin with. It's hit or miss. Sometimes it's good, but usually it's terrible.
yeah, we probably got to shut this down. And I
Unless
know
Sandhya
Sandhya wants
calls,
to move
then
on.
it's impeccable.
Sandhya, take it away.
You can have one more question. Okay, then we're going to move on.
This is Terry with just a
Hey,
comment.
Terry.
I have T-Mobile and I'm still seeing the transcriptions, which are terrible within after the voicemail message itself. I can flick to the right. When I was with Verizon, I got them free and then I had to pay for them. So which I did not do. So I'm thinking they come through the carrier and not through Apple.
Okay.
All right. Well, there's a lot in there and sometimes can be frustrating, but thank you so much, Greg, for tackling voicemail. Okay, now. Okay, we're going from one segment to the next. I promise if there is any time extra after the iChoice segment, we will return to unanswered questions, or we can always... Okay, so with that, we will hand it over to Herbie. Herbie, are you there? Herbie? Anyone?
I am here, yes.
All right.
More importantly is my guest speaker with us tonight, Maria.
Hello. I am.
You are, yes. Well, I knew you were here. I just want to make sure you could unmute. So tonight we get a special treat. We're going to hand it over to somebody that really knows how to do good presentations. You hear her the first Monday of every month on these calls. The one and only Maria, who's going to tell us about a very fascinating Bluetooth Braille keyboard you can use for your iPhone as well as other devices called the Hable One. And with that, it's going to be interesting because, I'm going to let Maria tell you all about it. Maria?
Well, thank you, Herbie, and thank you for that kind introduction. So yes, I am delighted to tell you all about the Hable One, which I actually have in my hands because I believe a small little miscommunication between the dealer and the manufacturer, because it's supposed to be a pre-order that was supposed to launch in US. It's been out in Europe. This is the company out of the Netherlands. And it's supposed to launch in US after the summer conventions, so mid-July. But the dealer that I purchased it from had them in stock. And as I mentioned, little miscommunication. So I got it about a week after I ordered it. So I have had it for close to a month now. And I am very pleased that I got it. So what is this? So as Herbie mentioned, it is they like to use the word controller for your smartphone. It does work with both iOS and also Android. And I'll mention quickly, you can type with it in Windows, but on the iOS and the Android side, of course, we'll be talking with iOS here. You can both type and navigate. And so you might be thinking of a product like the Orbit Writer as a similar category of device. I do not have one, so I can't speak from personal experience. I will tell you what made me purchase one of these. And as you all know, I do have my Braille display and I love my Braille display. I have my Focus, but I like to sometimes just, I don't need to take it with me. Like say I'm on the bus and going to work because I have my Focus at work. So I don't need to bring my personal one too. And I want to just like type on the go on the bus. And I don't want to take my phone out necessarily just on the bus or even just in general. There are times when it's easier to use the buttons rather than Braille screen input on the virtual screen, or there are times when, just in general, I mean, I have smaller hands. And so this is very much more comfortable for me to use as compared to even my iPhone 12 Pro that I have. So that is was certainly just one reason that I decided to look into something like this in general. And so why I picked the Hable was because of the way it is held and used, which I will describe in a second, because of the fact that there's on-device intelligence. So the Braille translation is being handled by the Hable itself rather than the keyboard emulating a Braille display. And the advantages of that, so that means that the Hable is treated like a Bluetooth keyboard on the on any device that it's used with. So for example, with VoiceOver, you're not going into VoiceOver and then Braille to enable it. You're going right from settings into Bluetooth and pairing it from there. So it really is being treated like a standard Bluetooth keyboard, and the Braille translation and the navigational aspect is being handled by the Hable. And the advantages of that are that the advantage is that you are not dealing with the Braille related bugs, like your input getting slower and slower the more text you type with a Braille display, or some of those idiosyncrasies with Braille translation, wherein the VoiceOver will just look at what you have typed in isolation, rather than, as the Hable does, looking at the text that you've typed between your spaces or your punctuations. And so it is making the Braille translation more intelligent and, work correctly as it should. So how do you use this thing, and what does it look like? So this is an oversight of mine, and forgive me, but because this is, as I mentioned, a manufacturer in the Netherlands, the dimensions of this and weight is given in millimeters. And so I'm going by basically off the cuff conversion senses off the top of my head. So I might be like an inch off, but it's about between 4 to 5, I would say, inches wide, about 2 to 3 inches I'm sorry, I'm clearly blanking on these words right now, but the dimensions are about 4 to 5 inches in one dimension, and then 3 to 4 in the others. So length by width, there we go. And then by height is about, I would say, like less than half an inch. So like maybe 0.3, 0.4 inches, something like that. So it's smaller. To give you a more comparison, my work iPhone is an SE 2020, and I have a case on it that has a bumper around the screen, and this fits on that screen. So it is, I can just place it on top of that phone. So it is smaller than that phone by length and width. In terms of weight, it weighs about 90 grams, I believe. And so that's something like 0.3 maybe pounds, something like that. It's really light. I have it in my purse, and it's like, I don't even know it's there. So what it looks like on one, so the way you hold it is like the way you would hold a phone in Braille screen input. So instead of having to lay it down on a table to type, you're holding it in the air, or if you want to hold it against your chest or something, but you don't have to. You can just literally hold it in the air. So really you can hold it in any situation, basically. So you've got your thumbs on the bottom side, if you will, and that side has 4 little feet, and it's the label with the whatever it says on the label. It's in print. You can feel engraving. So this does not have a user replaceable battery and the battery life is about, I believe, 50 hours or 14 days. And it is what they say, and it takes about 3 hours to charge via USB-C. So my hands, my thumbs would be resting on this flat bottom. My pinkies would be resting on the on an edge of the device, and that edge is facing the floor. And on that edge is the USB-C port. So then my hands, like the inside of my hands, like where my index fingers, the bases of my index fingers, and a bit, more of my hands is going toward the inside of my hands. That would be like resting on the sides of the unit, and it's quite ergonomically designed. The edges, kind of those sides, they sort of like curve in toward the keys, kind of the way that your fingers would kind of naturally just curve in as you are holding the device. And so then your fingers, and you're naturally that part of the unit that's the face, if you will, the edge that's facing away from you, has these 6 keys in 3 rows of 2 cells. So it's basically 2 vertical columns, each having 3. So if you think of like a vertical Braille cell, so your fingers just naturally end up index finger on dot 1, ring middle finger on dot 2, ring finger on dot 3 of your left hand, and then similar with your right hand, index on 4, middle on 5, and ring on 6. And these keys have they're actually nice and concave. They're round keys and they have some concavature to them, so they're curved inward, so your fingers nicely rest in them. And then to the left and to the right of those keys that I described, so taking up the amount of space of the top 2 keys, are a bit they're more oval type flatter keys, although they have a little curvature on them, not inward but outward, and those are what are called your dot 7 and 8, if you will, keys. So dot 7 to the left, taking up the same length as the dots 1 and 2, and then on the right you have dot 8, and those are the keys. And then you have on the top edge that's facing the ceiling is a switch, so this turns on and off nicely via a switch, a physical switch. To the right is on, to the left is off. And then I forgot to mention on the, as I'm holding it that way, on the lower right there's a lanyard, little I forget what the term is, but like you can put in and it comes with a wrist lanyard, and that's very convenient. I have that right now around my right wrist, so that's a nice peace of mind kind of thing. I don't have to worry about it falling. So now that we have described, let me demo for you. You really can just do a lot, and what I will say too, the commands, again, because this isn't emulating a Braille display, so the commands are actually, although a lot of them you can tell that the thought was to base them off of the iOS commands. Some of the iOS Braille display commands, some of them are quite different. However, I will say that they are very well thought of, in my view. Whoever came up with this, it is very intuitive. The command in one direction is one thing, and then in the other direction, it's literally just a mirror image of what you just did to go on the one direction. And I have found it quite easy to learn. So I will say what I am doing to just give you a flavor of some of these commands. So mine is already paired. As I said, you would go through just generally in Bluetooth, you would pair it, and it's very simple. You would get a request on your iOS device that there's a pairing request, and you would swipe over to pair, and then it would just pair. So my phone, I'm going to tap. That is my phone. It's to my left. It's sitting on my desk, and I'm not going to be touching it for the rest of this demo. And it's actually, if I swipe, you can tell it's locked. So no, not doing anything with the phone. So the Hable, actually, before I turn it on, let me type a little so you can hear what the keys sound like. Okay, so that's just a flavor of what they sound like. The device is not on, which is why nothing is happening, but I'm going to turn it on, and it does have haptic feedback as well. So you will be able to hear. I have it very close to the mic, and you should be able to hear. So I'm going to move the switch to the right. You're going to hear 2 vibrations to tell us that it's on, and then you'll hear, there will be a tiny little pause, and then you'll get another vibration to say that it is connected to my phone. There we go. So now it is on. So I can now unlock the phone directly from the Hable One. I can press any key really. So I can hold. Oh, and that's the other thing on this device with the haptic feedback. So there are commands where you press things, and then there are commands where you press and hold, and you can adjust the hold time in the menu for the Hable. So if I press and hold, say, I can just do anything really. Let's see, if I press and hold the dots 2 and 5, which is actually the command that you use to lock the device as well. And we get the haptic feedback. Now, sometimes voiceover, there we go. It was being slow with my speaker here, but it did say good evening there. So it has woken up, and we're going to press and hold. I did it. I didn't do it quickly enough because I was talking. I'm going to do that again, and then I'm going to press and hold dots 1, 2, and 5, which is H, to go to the home screen. Okay.
Good evening.
And now sometimes voiceover doesn't echo what's happening, so I'm gonna.
Monday, June 9:44 p.m. Monday, June 27th. Button. Direct button. Face ID.
So what
passcode field.
There we go.
Secure
I'm gonna do this so that it doesn't lock, and then I'll explain what I just did. So
batteries widget. iPhone.
All right.
66.
So what I
calendar.
did,
Batteries. Widget.
what I did there was
iPhone. 66% charged.
Okay.
Actions available.
What I did there was to, once I had done that, holding dots 1, 2, and 5 to go to the home screen, then I had moved, because again, VoiceOver wasn't echoing anything. So I was checking where I was. And so I did that by you hold dot 7 and press dot 8. And you can repeatedly, you keep holding down that dot 7 and then you repeatedly press dot 8. And that's like you're swiping to the right. You're going to the next item. So I did that a few times until VoiceOver told me something useful, which was that I was on the passcode field. And then I typed in the passcode using the Hable One. And the Hable One uses UEB, Unified English Braille. So I just typed in using the number sign dots 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, just as you would normally type Braille numbers, I typed in my passcode. So now we have unlocked the phone. So like, as I said, so to show you this mirror image concept, so like I said, pressing, so holding dot 7 and then repeatedly pressing dot 8, I can move forward.
Tuesday, convention hosts me from 6, 1 morning, weather, hourly, 11, 12, 8, 1 at 2, 8, 3 a.m. clear.
And these are my widgets for weather and calendar and such. So to move, and by the way, I just paused VoiceOver by holding dot 1. And I think you can tell you hold until there's a haptic feedback. And so now to move backward by item. So like I said, mirror image. So we hold dot 8 and then we can repeatedly press dot 7.
2 a.m., 1 a.m., 12 a.m. clear, 11, 10 p.m. web calendar from Connect Tuesday.
And forgive the delay. This delay is my Bluetooth speaker, not the Hable. So it could also be that iOS does not like that I have two different. I will tell you, if I have my Braille display connected as well, iOS is very, very unhappy. My Braille display is completely off right now. Bad things happen when I try and type and both are connected. So let me show you just quickly, for example, typing, like if I wanted to open notes and type something, for instance. So I'm going to move, because sometimes I'm sure you know, iOS, at least I've noticed with any external device, when I'm on widgets, it can be a little fickle as to whether it wants to open my spotlight search. So I'm going to just move off of my widgets.
And from 6 p.m.
And we're going to go
2 a.m., 3 a.m. calendar. Voice streams.
Okay, great. So now we're out of my widgets and we're on apps. So now, in order to open the spotlight search, which you do by scrolling down, that is you're gonna hold dots 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can tell this is based on the iOS like traditional command, except you're not holding you're not courting anything. You're just holding those 4 dots.
Spotlight, search, text.
And so I'm just going to type NOT.
Search, insertion point at start. 116 items found. Top search result. Notes. 117 items found.
Okay, and that's what I want to open. So in order to do, because like as I've mentioned, there are 8 keys here, and you'll see the dot 8 when you're typing by itself is used as a space. So in order to activate the enter, you're going to press dots 1 and 8.
Notes.
There we go. Thank you, VoiceOver. Okay, like I said, sometimes it does not echo where I am, which I don't think is the Hable's fault, because VoiceOver is like responsible for this echoing. So, in order to create a new note, and I'll just stop here once I show this. But in order to create a new note, so I'm going to move to the bottom of the screen by pressing and holding dots 4, 5, 6.
Toolbar. New note. Button.
And then I'm going to the way to double tap is pressing dots 7 and 8.
Note, text field is editing.
Okay.
Character mode, insertion point at start.
And I am just now in, I do have grade 2 enabled. Again, this is controlled by the Hable, the grade of translation, and not by VoiceOver here. So if I just type in, this is a test.
It's A, T, T, F, O, E, Hable, space, capital I-N.
And again, forgive this delay. This is a delay of my speaker. So I'm going to just stop typing there. I want to just show you, like, you can, there are commands for using the rotor, going in either direction. So if you press and hold dot 7 and then repeatedly press dots 5 and 6, you move forward in the rotor.
Screen input, portrait, words, lines, headings, speaking rate,
And
volume, sounds,
reversing that, pressing and holding dots pressing and holding dots 5 and 6, and then repeatedly pressing dot 7 will move you back.
volume, speaking rate, headings, lines, words,
And then
handwriting,
again, there just for the sake of time, of course, there are commands to flick, if you will, up and down, using the to review what like if you're on character or word in the rotor to move by that element. But there are also inbuilt Hable commands to do that. So like, for example, what's really great, like right now, there's a bug as of this moment with text selection. When you're using a Braille display, you can't flick to the right to actually select your unit. So the Hable has its own selection commands for you can set there are commands to select by word and character, but then there's a command to set the beginning of a selection, and then you navigate, and then when you're ready, when you've navigated to the end of your selection, you press that same command, and then it's end of that selection. And then there are single commands. You can press and hold C dots 1 and 4 to copy, press and hold X to cut, press and hold V to paste. There are commands for like bolding and italic and such. So I mean, there are quite a number of commands. And the way, if you'd like to find out more information, you can go, the website is IAM Hable HABLE.com, and there you will find under the support section, getting started guides and a function manual, and even a manual that tells you about the Braille alphabet and punctuation. And I will say that it is very, very user-friendly documentation in my view. Mystic Access, the company, also is producing in mid-July. It's going to launch some documentation, audio documentation. That's only like $20 to demo using it. And where I got it from is a dealer called North StateAT.com. They're based out of California, and the price of the unit is $349 plus shipping. And I will tell you, I think the build quality on it is quite good. It's a plastic, but it's a recycled plastic, they say. And I mean, I will just click. You can just hear, I just tapped it, and I think it's a pretty nicely built unit. So with that, you can tell I could keep going on, but I think I've given a decent demo. So with that, I'm happy to take questions. At least I hope I've given a decent demo.
Yeah, yes, you have. Actually, that was very good. Very well done. I'm sorry I don't have my applause mixer looped in here. Yay. So I'm going to take a facilitator prerogative here and just ask the first question and really make a comment. So the thing that really struck me from hearing your presentation, excuse me, is this is definitely more than just a Braille input device. And my thinking is, this could be a game changer for people who are comfortable with Braille but are not comfortable with the touch screen. This, for an extra device that, how solidly built it is, hopefully would last them quite a while, that would give them an extra layer of functionality.
Yes. And there are actually users that's it's interesting you mentioned that, because I've seen that there's a user list once you order it and such, you get an invite to join from the company. And that is basically what a couple of people have said. Like, I like the Braille, but I'm not comfortable with the touchscreen, and this has like really opened up the use of the iPhone to me.
So even if you don't know Braille, now's a good time to learn it, so that way you could get a device like this and be able to use your phone if you're not comfortable with the touchscreen. My question to you is this, though. One of the things that really stood out to me was the ease of text selection. And so it brings up a question. Do you think you would feel confident using your phone to, like, say, write and edit a Word document with that Braille device, the Hable One?
So if it were like a basic kind of with just writing, and maybe if I needed to cut and paste and such, I haven't tried it actually using the built-in Word app, but that is definitely something I do want to play with. If it was something a little more complex, like, auto numbered lists or headings or things, I think VoiceOver on iOS isn't there in terms of providing the feedback. But yeah, in terms of just selecting, I mean, it is simple to do. I can try and select whatever gibberish, and it's not gibberish, but I typed a few words. Like if I do the double tap,
Insertion pointed star.
double tap to I just did the pressing dots 7 and 8 to move to the top, and so then I can do this command. So I won't. Okay, so pressing holding dot 7 and pressing dots 4 and 5.
Tap T, select H, selected I, S.
So this is one way, or I can do so instead of so holding dot 7 and then pressing dots 4 and 6 repeatedly.
Is selected A, selected test of the selected.
So that's one way I can select, and I can just say if I wanted to, I pressed and
test of the copied.
I just pressed and held C dots 1 and 4 to copy, and then like that mode that I was telling you, the starting of the selection. So again, yeah, it's just
insertion pointed end.
It's pressing. Okay.
Insertion.
Oh, come on. So it's pressing a certain keystroke. I won't, again, for time's sake, it's pressing a certain keystroke, navigating in a similar way to what I just did, but using slightly different commands and then pressing it again. So I do feel like it definitely would make it easier, whether Word itself in terms of its navigation, the like weirdnesses that it does with like different edit fields for pages and things, that's not the Hable's fault. I don't know how like efficient it would be, but yeah, in terms of the selection and such, I definitely really like that.
Well, you do also at least have the option of like notes, as Marie was demonstrating.
Yes.
Text, well, not text edit, pages. I know.
Yeah, or even like what is it, like Ulysses or something, like some of those paid like editors. Yeah.
Dropbox has a basic text editor, so all right, totally cool. Yeah. And yes, as somebody that has an Orbit Writer, it does have a painful delay, and so an alternative would be awesome. All right.
And this does use Bluetooth. I believe it's 5.1, so I should add with that.
All right, good to know. Okay, so with that, I think we will open it up. I was also thinking of Joe. Unfortunately, he's not in here because he has a lot of questions about text selection. But if he has $349, he might benefit from this device. Yeah. So, okay.
Well, Joe, check out the archive.
This is Terry.
Terry, yes.
Go ahead, Terry.
I can tell you that the Hable One pairs much more quickly compared to the Orbit Writer. And of course, it is a much more sophisticated device because the Orbit Writer, doesn't have the Braille translation program built in, and but the price is very different too. So you definitely have to take that into account. But what I know for some people, the thing that has scared them away from the Hable One is the fact that you need to use UEB input. But it is my understanding that, and maybe it's going to happen, I don't know, during convention time but sometime soon, whatever that means, Hable is also going to be coming out with like SEB or EBAE Braille, so that you don't have to you'll have an option to use something besides the
if we had the time,
UEB.
I could really comment more about given my perspective of switching to a UEB Braille mode, because really a couple iOSs ago, that's really what the iPhone had already started supporting for like Braille input anyway.
Right. Well, and it's the official code, in US too. But yeah, I will say in terms of the update, I believe they're because right now, in order to update, it's still simple, but you use a Windows PC and you connect it via USB and you download this file and you update. But I believe what they're working on too, in conjunction with the US launch or soon thereafter, is a companion app through which you could then do over-the-air updates. That is upcoming.
This is Marty.
All right, Marty, and everybody else, please remain muted. And if you have a question, then wait till Marty's done. And go ahead, Marty.
Were you demoing the Hable or the Orbit Writer? I can't.
The Hable one.
Now,
no worries. This is the Hable one.
Which one?
The Hable one.
The Hable one. I do have a demo of the Orbit Writer that's a year old or so.
Is it much different in price than the Orbit Writer, or?
The Hable One is $349, and Herbie, then you can tell us what was
I
the
think
Orbit
the Orbit Writer is
price?
what, 99?
The Orbit Writer is 99. And quite frankly,
Now,
folks, just go ahead, Marty.
what makes the Hable? I mean, are there more amenities to the Hable?
Yeah, so Marty, let me refer you. If you could listen back to this archive, that would
Yeah,
be
that's
great,
what
because
I
I
was gonna
did
say.
touch on it a little bit,
Oh,
and I don't
okay,
want to repeat.
okay.
Yeah. So no problem. I know you came in late, so I would definitely suggest you
My
listen.
phone battery went dead, and I
That's
fell
okay.
asleep.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't have an Orbit right. I kind of talked about what made me decide on this one. I know Mystic Access, when they put out their documentation on the Hable One, they have both of them, so they will be able to speak more from personal experience. But what I had talked about was more like on the feature side, what made me.
All
Do they
folks,
do they have a podcast on it? I will check.
So
Mystic
we
Access
are
out.
running short on time. So Sandhya, I don't know if you want us to end here or go over a couple minutes. It's your call.
You can do it like 5 more minutes. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead,
And so I'll
Marty.
just
You were
quickly
asking about a podcast.
Yes, I heard his. So yeah, Mystic Access. If you go, they do have their free download for May. Their free class was an intro to the Hable One, and like I said, they're gonna release this documentation in July. That's gonna be like $20. It's a bit more extensive. And so yes, do check out on mysticaccess.com under
This
free
is Dan.
download.
Another question.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, and then Shri.
Okay, Marie, what about the battery on the Hable One? Eventually you're going to have to change it. What can you do that as a user?
No, it's not user replaceable.
So what do you do about the battery?
I would say you would then, contact your dealer or the manufacturer, and I would imagine, I don't know if they would either like send you a new one or just have you send it in to replace the battery.
Okay.
Batteries on Braille displays can be tricky. I can tell you stories about the Orbit Braille display. All right, Shri.
So my question is, someone who doesn't know Braille, would you say this would be the right tool to get to learn how to use it, or would you recommend something else then?
I mean, I think it could be a tool. You can set your grade to grade 1 and then just, type something and you press space and you see what VoiceOver tells you, what is it that you've typed. So I mean, it could be a tool in the toolbox. I think if someone were to learn Braille, I would definitely want to, which I would encourage if anyone wants to learn Braille, to use like a course, like something like, the Hadley course, or like some kind of more systematic approach to learn it. But, certainly as a way to support the learning of Braille, I do think using something like this with physical buttons is easier than trying to do it with the Braille screen input. And even I think, unfortunately, with some of the idiosyncrasies and how Apple handles translation, I do think something like this is better because it is doing it on its own. And to be blunt, it's handling Braille translation as Braille translation should be handled. So,
there you go. Though, Shri, I would mention the Orbit Writer might be a good starter just because you're probably not going to do any advanced typing, so you're probably going to be less affected by some of the idiosyncrasies and stuff, just at least when starting out with grade 1. So that's something else to think about too. And if you want to, for you or anybody, I can direct you to some Braille learning Zoom courses that are happening as part of the ACB community, where you can really go in there and ask some more questions about ways to learn Braille. So I'd be more than happy to direct anybody to those resources. All right, who is next? Last question, and then we are done. All right, well, it looks like we're done then. Well, right. Maria, you stole the show. I think that was a good thing. If I'd have known, we'd have had to. I think we needed to give you like an entire call for this. A great presentation. Real quick, I do want to mention you did a presentation for the Hable One on an ACB community call last week, and I believe that is going to. I think that was not streamed, so I don't know if it'll be podcasted. No.
Yes, I don't know. And what they had sent out as a recording was actually the manufacturer, one of the representatives, one of the co-founders. He came, I guess, kind of late, and so they did a little Q&A with him after, and that's what was publicly posted. I don't think what I had said or what I had done was posted for now. So that's okay. You can get Mystic Access's version, which is like an hour and a half and it's going to be much more comprehensive.
I think you should do your own version.
Okay, guys.
So
Okay.
compete. All right, we gotta go though. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Maria and Herbie. Thank you so much. That's a pretty powerful little device there. And just thank y'all for hanging in. And so thank you, Greg, for helping me facilitate tonight. If you're still awake. Greg, you still awake? No, he's sleeping.
I put him to sleep with my
Yeah,
presentation.
I think you did it, Maria. Way to go. No, just teasing Greg. So let's see, quickly review. We will have a meeting next week, even though it is July 4th. So come back and, after you get ready to watch the fireworks, you can come here and watch us with our fireworks here. Virtual fireworks. Let's see, what else? Tomorrow is Clubhouse the mini buzz on Clubhouse, and then Mac and Talk on Zoom. And then Friday night is iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies. We're going to be watching A Streetcar Named Desire from 1951, and then iBUG Unplugged on Saturday. So we have lots of good stuff this week. So thank y'all for everybody who participated, all the good questions, and we will be back. So have a great week, and thank y'all, everybody, for helping participate tonight.
Thank you. Stay
Thank
well and
you.
be safe.
That's great.